So we are at BIRDOSWALD Roman fort on the edge of HADRIAN'S wall. Very much ruined fort. The boys are over there. The walls extend all the way around this way. And I will show you a few of the bits and pieces and a bit of the history. So the wall you can just see in the distance there is part of HADRIAN'S wall, and HADRIAN'S wall was created in Roman Britain to divide the kind of Roman Britain part of the country from Caledonia, which is what is now Scotland. It's never actually formed the border between England and Scotland, but a lot of people suggest that that's what the history of it was. But Hadrian, who was a Roman emperor, had it built to protect Britain from the kind of Caledonian barbarians who were trying to invade the country. Or at least that's what the history here tells us. So the farmhouse itself was built in the Victorian times, 1858 I think it said it was finished, because this used to be a working farm. This area of ruins over here was 16th century. It was I can't remember what they called it, a cattle holding. Basically it was a two-storey house with room for the cattle below and then room for the other people to live above, so that they could protect their cows from thieves. And then over here you've got the gate. That's kind of the entrance to this when it was the Roman area of the fort. And then there are more Roman foundation ruins over here. We are heading for a little walk along the edge of Hadrian's wall. Mum's here. Hello. And yeah, just to go and have a little walk and explore all the beautiful views and the beautiful countryside. You can see the wall just behind me there, heading up into the trees. And it is, yeah, lovely. We've been really lucky with the weather. It's chilly, but then it's October. But it's dry, which compared to the weather yesterday is amazing. we have just taken a slight detour on the way back towards the cottage to Hartside Summit. We're up in the Pennines at the moment, and it's one of the highest points. I think we're about 1850 foot, 1800 foot, something like that, above sea level at the moment. And you've got gorgeous views over the Lake District. Over there. Day 2, and we are at HAWESWATER Reservoir, I believe. It's taken us goodness knows how long to get here because of finding wellies and oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it. It's taken us about 3 hours to do a 40-minute journey. Anyway, we are heading hopefully down that path over there. I don't know if you can just see in the distance those people walking along it. The plan is to follow the edge of the reservoir out to that woods over there, and hopefully from that woods we should get a really good view of the full reservoir, which is just over that ridge. But yeah, let's get going.
Follow me out down to the bay. Forget all the worries when you're with me. Let every wave gently kiss away some of the hardness from those brief yet gloomy days. Wilderness, we give you our mess. We're so blessed to have you anchor our hearts and give us a fresh start. Wilderness, we've come for you. We'll misbehave, stay up till late, share our secrets as we let go. No more illusions, no more standing still. Our love fusion will never cease to thrill. Wilderness, we give you our mess. We're so blessed to have you anchor our hearts and give us a fresh start. Wilderness, we've come for you. Like feathers in the wind, we dance along. No urge of acting strong. Wilderness, we give you our mess. We're so blessed to have you anchor our hearts and give us a fresh start. Wilderness, we've come for you. Wilderness, we give you our best. We're so blessed to have you.
So today we are visiting LOWTHER Castle and Gardens. This is it in all its glory. It's kind of a ruined castle. I'll find out a bit more of the history, but from the history I've learnt so far, apparently in around the 1800, well, 19th century, I guess, the earl that was the current owner of it went bankrupt and sold basically all the roofs, all the chimney stacks, all the fireplaces, and just left it as an empty shell. And it's been like that ever since. It's quite impressive though. So I promised some history of the castle and then completely forgot to record any as we were going round. I did get plenty of pretty shots of the castle though, so I thought I would add in the audio narration now for you. So the Lowther estate was originally settled, or it's thought to have originally been settled in about 1150 by a man named Dolphin, who was of Viking descent. And he's the one who gave the name Lowther to the estate. It is thought to have come from the Old Norse Louth a with an A instead of an ER, which meant foaming river. The castle itself wasn't actually commissioned until the 1800s by the owner at the time, William Lowther, who was the first Earl of Lonsdale. He was very good friends with William Wordsworth, and actually William Wordsworth, I can't say his name, comes up a lot in this area. The castle was designed by Robert Smirke, and you can see just from that picture on the screen now what the castle would have looked like originally when it was first completed. Now, Robert Smirke is an architect you may have heard of. When he designed Lowther, he was very young and very early in his career, but he later became quite well known for a lot of buildings in London, including the British Museum. In the 1930s, the castle's fate was sealed, however, as the 5th Earl of Lonsdale, Hugh Lowther, who was the current owner, was a notoriously bad gambler, and in 1937 he and his family had to leave the Lowther estate because they couldn't afford to run the castle anymore. And during World War II, it was then requisitioned for the war effort, and it was used for tank deployment. Tank development even. And I forgot to take photos of the pictures to share, but there were some amazing photos of the estate during the World War II, and the tanks kind of spread out across the lawns. After the war, in about 1954, it was returned to the family, but because of the effect that the war had had on Britain, the Depression and everything like that, the family couldn't afford to run it then. So that's when it kind of got abandoned properly. The roofs were removed to avoid taxes. I guess if you remove a roof, it's no longer a property, so you don't have to pay taxes on it. I'm not sure on the legalities of that. And they went through the whole castle and they auctioned off all of the treasures, all of the kind of, well, what we would now call antiques, were all auctioned off in big lots to raise funds. And that was the end of Lowther Castle. It was then left as it is today until relatively recently, where it's been taken over by a new trust who is developing all the gardens. today, but we've come out locally to investigate a local stone circle. This is Long Meg and Her Daughters, which is the second largest stone circle in England, Stonehenge being the biggest, and it is really nice. The stones are thought to have been here since about 1500 BC, so obviously a very, very, very long time. There's apparently 69 of them in total. That's my dad. It's really nice because obviously like Stonehenge is English heritage, so you can't actually get up close to the stones and things like that, whereas here it's just a local walking spot really, and it's really, really cool. So I'll try and get a bit of history as we go around, but the stones are, as I said, there's 69 stones, Long Meg and her daughters, and the legend goes that Long Meg was a witch, and her daughters, I think that in the background, the taller one, I'll show you it later, is Long Meg. Her and her daughters were turned to stone because they were caught dancing on the moors, dancing wildly on the moors on the Sabbath. And they say that the circle is imbued with magic, and you can't count the same number of stones twice. And if you do, the spell will be broken and Long Meg and her daughters will come back to life. So this is Long Meg, and interestingly it's made of different stones. So the daughters over there are all made of granite, and Long Meg is actually out of the local sandstone. So yeah, quite interesting. And apparently the four corners of the Long Meg rock point towards the points of the compass, and there's also some really interesting symbols on it. You can see just here the symbols, and down the bottom there as well. It's interesting, isn't it? Obviously used in some kind of religious rituals back in 1500 BC. But something we'll never know exactly. There's writing here as well. William Wordsworth found this area so beautiful. A lot of William Wordsworth's poems, I think, were written about the Lake District and the surrounding area anyway, but he actually wrote a poem about Long Meg and her daughters, which I thought I would share with you. I've recorded it out of the wind, so I can add it to the video for you to listen to. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it.
A weight of awe not easy to be borne fell suddenly upon my spirit, cast from the dreaded bosom of the unknown past. When first I saw that family forlorn, speak thou, whose massy strength and stature scorn the power of years, preeminent and placed apart to overlook the circle vast. Speak, giant mother, tell it to the morn, while she dispels the cumbrous shades of night. Let the moon hear, emerging from a cloud, at whose behest uprose on British ground that sisterhood in hieroglyphic round, foreshadowing, some have deemed the infinite, the inviolable God that tames the proud.
We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich little girl, daydreamer, kidnap me. Take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot. No mistake ever kept me late. We spent summers catching fireflies and winters on our skates. One big smile across my face. We used to dance our way to church on Sundays. Mama set the pace. Daydreamer, kidnap me. Take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot. Back to them days, daydreamer, kidnap me, have me running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.